So the other day, I think it was Saturday, I'm, I'm driving to Illinois, not happy. I don't even like to drive to Mariano's. I'm driving down 57 and I start thinking to myself, man, I want to get Brost from Bolingbrook on. And then I was like, well, I how do I ask him? I'm like, should I get his number? Should I email? So then I end up at the State Farm Center with my 7-year-old, and we walk into the arena, and lo and behold, the legend himself is sitting there with his son. It was so random. So I asked Coach Bros to join me, and here he is. Um, Bolingbrook head basketball coach since 2008.
Yeah, 2007, 2008, I think. The years kind of just blend together. Um, so, yeah, yeah. So here we are. And really,
How
first time we met each other was Saturday, and what a unique way to connect.
Basketball is the best vehicle on the planet.
No doubt about that. No doubt.
Oh God. So I first want to start off. I read a little bit about you because I always, I don't want to be completely
Uh, don't believe everything you read.
uh, oh, okay. Let me delete that.
Well,
So you no, you know what? Screw it. I want to get to it. How'd you get involved with US basketball?
I've been involved with USA basketball for almost 10 years now, I think. And it started, um, I spoke at one of their coach academies and then was asked to work one of the training camps. And then most recently, I've had a chance to coach the Hoop Summit team last April. So it's been a really, really obviously blessing in my life, and I'm so grateful for all the opportunities that they have afforded me in the last several years, especially. And so, people ask me that all the time. How did you get started with USA? And I can't even put my finger on the exact thing that kind of got me going with them. And then, I worked some USA basketball tournaments on the youth side and did some other things. And then it just started to morph into some other opportunities. And certainly when you get those types of opportunities, you want to do really well when you're there. And evidently, hopefully, that's what I've done. And so it's been a really, really great little run with USA basketball. And I'm so fortunate. And some of my closest friends are affiliated with that group now. I'm an Iowa guy, and Coach Don Showalter, who is a legend upon all legends and probably the GOAT of USA youth basketball of all time. He's an Iowa guy as well, and he had Snow Valley camps way back when I was younger, and I worked those. And so, all of those relationships helped, and I'm just grateful and blessed to be a small part of the USA basketball family for sure.
Um, where where has it taken you? What besides to Denver, where has it taken you?
Yeah. So, well, I've gone to multiple training camps or mini camps at Final Four locations: Phoenix,
Awesome.
Minneapolis, Indianapolis, where the last several Final Fours, Dallas. Those places are obviously unique. The Hoop Summit was in Portland, so I've been there. And then, when you coach the Hoop Summit, you're obviously working and playing against players from all over the world, literally.
Yep.
And so that's a unique experience. And then because of some of the connections I made at USA Basketball, um, it's not the exact reason per se, but some of those connections have opened up some doors. I've gone to Italy 3 or 4 times, I believe, and spoken at camps in Italy for Airness Academy. So, it's taken me all the way to Italy several times, and
Awesome.
that didn't really have anything directly to do with USA basketball, but because of the connections and
Yep.
all of the people that I have run into, that kind of opened some doors that way as well. So I've been fortunate to travel all over the world and with through this little basketball thing. So it's been great, and I'm looking forward to keeping it going.
Again, like I said, man, basketball is the best vehicle ever,
No doubt, no
ever.
doubt about it, no doubt
Um,
about it.
who do you think, out of all the years you were with USA Basketball, give me a starting eight, a
Oh
starting five,
wow.
and then three off the bench.
I think my first group in the first I think it was a tryout for a 16U team, and I think that group was Scotty Barnes, Evan Mobley, Jalen Green,
Wow.
that whole bunch there, Jalen Suggs, all of those guys were in the same class. And so,
Awesome.
so that was a pretty loaded group. And then most recently, and I don't know if I can narrow it down to eight, but I'll try. Most recently, obviously having AJ DeBansa on the Hoop Summit team and Cam Boozer and Mikkel, and those guys. I mean, those guys are all lottery picks as well. So
Yep.
it's going to be hard to narrow it down. But
Gotta
one of
do
my
it.
one of my favorite players ever is Davion Harmon, who played at Oklahoma. He was one of my favorites as well. So what I don't even know how many players I've named there, but
Four.
you gotta.
You've
I
named
think
four. You owe me four more.
of course, and then of course, Cooper Flag would be, one of the best as well, and um,
Five,
Scotty Barnes, Evan Mobley.
6, 7.
Um, Man, there has been so many. I don't want to offend anyone, of course. Isaiah Stewart was really, really good too, currently with the Pistons, and
That's 8.
so
Okay.
I mean, I could go on and on and on and on with these guys, and so it's just been a pleasure to
You
be
left
a
someone
small part
out.
of it. Well, I'm sure I left more than one person out, but who are you thinking?
Brady Pettigrew.
Well, well, that's true as well. But he's still young. He's still young. He's definitely still young. So,
Yes.
yeah, and I mean, he's on my high school team too. In addition, so, but that is
Yeah.
very true. Very true.
I just had to make the joke. I was
Absolutely.
hoping, I was hoping you didn't mention Brady, so
Well,
it worked out. It worked
yeah,
out for the content. So tell me your story. You graduate from college and then go.
yeah. So, really, even before I graduated college, I got I quit playing after my freshman year, and then I went to Northern Iowa, transferred to Northern Iowa, which is in my hometown of Cedar Falls, Iowa. So was really fortunate enough my junior season, not junior season, but my junior year of college, I become the freshman coach at Cedar Falls High School. And
Okay.
that's where I played. So before I even graduated, here I am, a head coach at the high school level, not of the varsity, but at the freshman level. And my second year there, my senior year of college, we had the best team in school history at the freshman level, and we went undefeated. So that was really fun, and the first time in school history that a freshman squad had gone undefeated. And in Iowa at the time, um, freshmen were still at the junior high, they called them, and then high school was 10th, 11th, 12th. So
Okay.
we were kind of like the big dogs on campus as freshmen because we were ninth grade in a 7, 8, 9 building. So it was a little unique that way. But so that was my real start to coaching. And I'm very fortunate that my high school coach was able to get me on staff, and then B, give me so much responsibility at being a head level coach so young. And so that really kickstarted me. And then I moved out this way and became the assistant coach at McHenry County College in Crystal Lake, Illinois.
Yep.
And lo and behold, 1 year in, the head coach, him and his wife were having triplets at the time. So he decided, well, this is a real high risk pregnancy, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to take a year off. So then I became the head coach at McHenry County College at like age 22, 23. So, and that was just on kind of an interim basis. He was going to come back. Well, then they have the triplets, fast forward, and then he doesn't want to coach anymore. So I had been the coach for a year and then end up getting the job on a full-time basis. So fast forward, I do that for a couple years at McHenry County College, and then I start working camps for the Chicago Bulls on the youth side. And 2 or 3 months after that, they offer me a full-time position at the Bulls Training Academy. So I leave the college, and then I worked for the Bulls for 6 or 7 years. No joke intended there. Um, I worked for the Bulls for six or
Ooh,
seven years.
ooh,
Yeah,
sweet
yeah, that's right.
seven.
So I worked there, and then the Bolingbrook job comes open, and we lived in Bolingbrook, my wife and I, and and so just decided to go back into that kind of coaching realm of it, and then have been at Bolingbrook ever since. Now I'm old. I think this is my 18th or 19th year at Bolingbrook, and I've got just about 30 years, almost 30 years of coaching under my belt. So
Awesome.
I'm old, bald. No offense to anybody else on this podcast, but um, and so I've been around a little bit, and then obviously with the USA basketball stuff, the last 8 to 10 years has been a definite blessing to my career as well. I've spoken at camps all over the world, clinics all over the United States. So it's just been a blessing all the way around.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. You have to scout Trey. Give me your scout.
Well, first I wouldn't let him shoot it. Um, I would
Not
I would I would make him put it on the floor. He's gotten a lot better here the last, I would say, 6 months in particular. Not that he wasn't a good player before, but he kind of was fighting injuries and some other things, and has been able to, really make a jump here the last 4 to 6 months. But and so I wouldn't let him shoot it. I would pressure him, and then I would uh, try to get it out of his hands, and then not let him get it back. Um, that's what I would do. So I hope nobody listens to this podcast. I mean, I hope nobody. No. So, but we have the good news is he's is used to playing with really really good players, and so he was more of a distributor, his sophomore and junior seasons, and so he knows how to play right, and he knows how to get others involved, and that's what you want from your point guard. Is super super smart and plays really really hard. So, that's what I would do uh, against him.
Here's my scout for your son.
Yeah.
His dad's a piece of shit.
Well,
Just
we
saying.
know that. Well, that's a given.
No, this is my genuine scout. Exact same thing. And I would make sure the players and coaches know he has a very high IQ and will adjust to
Yeah.
whatever we throw at him. So you need to make sure you have plan A, plan B, plan C, and plan D because he will adjust and not just shut down.
There's no doubt about that. There is no doubt about that. I'm just really proud of him. He gets all his athleticism and all of those things from his mom. My wife played soccer at Kentucky and was, state champion soccer player in her prep days, and then, was one of the best at one point was one of the best soccer players in the country. So, all of that quickness and athleticism that he has, he got from his mom. But I do take a little credit for his basketball IQ and the shooting ability, just a little bit. But the most all of it, besides that, comes from his mom.
Um, Who was I talking to? I was talking to someone the other day about after I met you. Maybe John Clancy. I don't remember. Um, but so I'm a big culture guy and like a people guy.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll give you an example. So, you know Jason Tucker at Schaumburg?
Yeah. A little bit, not well, but
No,
just
but
a
you
little
know
bit.
of him.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I went to the Chicago Bulls practice a few weeks ago, okay, coach?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I don't give a shit about these kids. Like, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
keeping it real. I'm 44. I have three kids of my own. And none of those dudes out there were Michael Jordan.
Right.
So, I'm there and I talk, as you can tell, I like to talk. And, they're scrimmaging and it was so bad. It was so bad. And I start talking to Tucker and some of the coaches, and they're like, shh, shh, we're trying to watch. And for me, I wasn't offended, but for me, out of all the years I've been around, I mean, 2006, um, I finally realized that like I don't care about the X's and O's as much as
Hmm.
I care about the relationships
No doubt.
and the culture. Like when Underwood came up and was talking to my son Jonah, 10 out of 10 dudes in my position would be like, oh my God, Underwood, right?
Yeah.
I was so impressed with his culture and
Yeah. No doubt.
what he builds. So so when I met your son, Trey was the first time, right? Like we just
Yep.
honest to God, he just oozes maturity. Um, he oozes, I'm a floor leader, I'm a life leader, right? Like
Yep.
you can and I've never met him. I never met Trey. Um,
Yep.
and this is just by shaking his hand. My wife says it's a gift of mine. Um, Looked you in the eye, knew how to smile, wasn't socially awkward. You can tell like he was glowing that he was at the State Farm Center,
Yep.
right? And for me, again, that's like a culture thing. A lot of coaches go, man, Trey Brost shoot the shit out of that, man.
Yep.
And for me, I'd be like, no, dude, like he can, but you got to talk to the kid.
Yeah.
Like that's a great human.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, and
It's all
he's
your wife. It's all your wife.
well. There's no doubt about that, but I
All
think
your wife.
it's been really great for him to grow up around
Mhm.
our program and around our guys and kind of witness both the good and the bad as far as examples being set, I guess you would say. And so, I think it's important. We always talk about at our place before you can start becoming a good player, you got to start becoming a better person. And until you start doing that, your play will lag behind. But if you start becoming a better person, your play will follow, and you'll start becoming a better player. And I think he's really understands that, and that's what it's all about. And that's I'm sure we'll get into this in a little bit, but that's what drew him to the Michigan Tech coaches amongst all the other opportunities that he's had. And this open gym cycle, he's had even more opportunities, which I don't want to get into because that they don't matter at this
Yep.
point. But um, you know, I think that was one of the things that impressed him about the Michigan Tech coaches, that they were real, they were honest, and they're just good dudes that love basketball, but they love people more than they love basketball. And
Yeah.
so it's like we were talking about earlier. The basketball is what kind of brings us together, but it's the people that we really benefit from. So I really appreciate you saying that, and I'm super proud of him, not just for the player that he is, but more so the person that he's becoming and will continue to grow into. And he's our clear leader of our team. On and off the floor, and so that doesn't make it perfect all the time, but it's really fun to watch his growth both on and off the floor. So I really appreciate your kind words about him.
And again, this is based off a handshake,
Right. Yes.
right? Like,
Yeah.
and I hope all the children and dads understand if I can feel that off a handshake, so can college coaches.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when he when he's around your guys, and I'm not, I don't say when he's around people, I mean, people want to be around him, whether that's basketball wise
Yep.
or otherwise. And he's, really grown in that area. And so for the longest time, he was kind of, I don't want to say shy, but kind of quiet and to himself and, just kind of observe things. And, he's done a really good job of communicating on the floor, number one, and then also communicating off the floor too, and being able to, have a like what you say, look people in the eye and have a conversation and ask a follow up question rather than just giving a one word answer. Though obviously he's a kid still, and sometimes he does those things, but for the most part, he's really good about all of those things.
Yeah, I mean, stand up, dude. I mean, your
Yeah.
wife is doing a great job.
There's no doubt. And, I've been married for 27 years. Humble brag right there. I don't know what's more of a miracle that she stayed with me or that I still have a job. There's a lot of there's a lot of things, a lot of things. But so yeah, I'm the luckiest guy on the planet. Not only with the two kids that I have, but most off with having her for sure.
I'm gonna let I'm gonna let that sizzle a little bit. That was really nice. You're still on the watching this.
Right.
Um, Man, I don't want to gush too much about Trey. I listen, I teach and I'm
Yeah.
around kids all the time. So when I find that star who just gets it socially, I
Yeah.
get excited about it. You
Hmm.
know, similar like with my 7-year-old, he'll look you in the eye. I think he
Right.
gets at
No doubt.
Illinois practice.
Yeah.
Get up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, I just
Absolutely.
I feel like dads and moms know what it takes, but
Yes.
I just think they choose not to.
There's no doubt. And with all the factors that are involved now with especially with kids, not only, when they're playing basketball, but with all the social media and all the, opinions,
Yep.
I'll just leave it at that, that are out
Yes.
there and people that are, you know, not in their face, but you know what I mean, just like gnawing at their time or gnawing at the things that they do and in a lot of cases, the things that they don't do and the things that they don't participate in. And so, I think it's hard to be a kid today, but on the other hand, if you can do the right things and you keep practicing the right things, it's just like developing habits on the court, right? If you develop good habits on the court, then you become a better player. Same thing with a person and personality. If you develop good habits,
Yep.
as far as just the little things like you were talking about, standing up, looking people in the eye, asking follow-up questions instead of just giving one word responses back. All of those things matter, because people will remember how you made them feel, just
Yep.
exactly what you're describing, when with your interaction with Trey, and that goes both ways, right? So he has a feeling towards you because it's the first time he met you. So
Yep.
it's parenting is somewhat like coaching in that how much rope do you give them? How much do you let them go without reeling them back because you want them to do so much of it on their own, but at the same time you don't want them to fall flat on their face where they get hurt. And so it's a tough thing with parenting, and it's the same thing with your team. You want to control them to a certain point and give them parameters, but you want them to grow, and for them to grow they got to kind of trip up a little bit, right? And they got to figure it out on their own. And so I think there's a fine line with that, and just like with coaching and parenting both, I go a lot on feel. Like I just do what I feel like is appropriate at the time, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Same with parenting.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's the right decision, sometimes it's not. But you just, the players and my own kids are are the same, right? They know that you really care about them. And so then people can get over the stuff that happens, right? And so, um, I think we all, as coaches, want our players to play really hard and to do the right things. And then we want extraordinary effort, right? But to get extraordinary effort, our players need to feel extraordinarily valued, right? And once they do that, and once you do that, then they people ask me all the time, why do your teams play so hard? I don't know the exact answer to that, except for I would hope that they play hard because they feel valued in some sort of way. And so that's my hope. And so, whether that's true or not, remains to be seen. But all I know is that I really care about our guys. I really care about my own kids. I have two of my own. But now I have one that's both of those things my own kid and a player all wrapped into one. And so that's been probably the most, biggest blessing of my life, other than, my family. But like, as far as getting to do something and you get to do what you love with the person and persons that you love. And my family is totally wrapped up in our team. My daughter's a junior at Carroll University, and she's was a dancer, so she is completely wrapped up in our team and Trey and how he's doing and how much did he work out and how did he do this? Is he being a nice, so it's totally a family thing, and that's what makes it really, really fun.
Um, you in your prime versus Trey, who wins?
That's not even close. Trey wins by far. I mean,
What is
I,
wrong? You and Glenn Olson.
I,
Glenn Olson gave it to Reed.
I, I, I don't know. I think I'm a little bit taller, so I'm a little bit longer than him. I wasn't fat, obviously, back when I played. So, um, you know, I I think my decision making was good. I could shoot it a little bit, but nothing like what he can do. And I wasn't near as quick as what he is. And so, um, he would take me in in my prime. But I will say that I can still beat him in like a game of horse or something like that because I can get in between his ears and you know, um, and win that way.
Um, okay. I mean, you and Glenn are so humble. I hate it. It is what it is. I will say these kids are so much more athletic than when
No doubt,
we were younger.
no
Um,
doubt.
but they're
Yeah,
they're you can never have the full package. You know,
right.
then you have, softness, entitlement.
No doubt.
Um,
And that's the thing that I think that Trey has the least of,
um,
the softness, entitlement, that type of thing. And when you're sitting in my seats, and the same thing with Coach that you mentioned, that's the last thing you want for your kid is to feel like he's entitled to anything or that he's going to get anything because of his dad. And so that's a hard thing for kids to navigate as well. And so, but I've heard nothing but great things from pretty much everyone I've talked to that's coached their son. And so obviously there's challenges to it, but it's a blessing for sure.
how are those car rides?
Well, we don't really. I mean, unless he brings it up, I don't really bring up basketball. But
Yes.
he'll bring it up from time to time, and he's so cerebral, like you mentioned before. Like he'll say things like, "Why don't we get so and so, and why don't we run him off a flare? How they're guarding that. We should think about doing so stuff like he's a half a step even ahead of his dad, who's also the coach, and so that part's been fun, and we don't talk hoops unless he really wants to or he brings it to me, and it's fun now because he's sending me clips that he finds on social media. I think this will work for Brady. We should do this for TJ. We need to run this alley oop play for TJ. Look at this. Stuff like that. So it's been really
I
it's been
love
really great.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
it's fun.
so he chose Division 2.
Hmm.
Please explain to these babies out here how hard these guys at the Division 2 level play.
Well, I mean, I think it's you know, Michigan Tech, where Trey committed. I mean, they beat two Division 1 teams last year, and obviously they're one of the top Division 2 teams in the country. And if they don't get Division 1 caliber players, they're not going to win at a high level. And so I think they have to get that caliber of player in order to win at a high rate. And so you see this all the time, not only with players, but now you see it with Coach McCallum going from Division 2 to Drake, and now from Drake to Iowa. I mean, it's basketball is basketball, and so we Trey and I have been to several practices. We went to Notre Dame practice, obviously went to Illinois practice, and a buddy asked Trey, what's the difference between those guys and the Michigan Tech guys? And it was interesting what he said. He said, the size isn't that much different. Like the bigs at Michigan Tech are almost as big as, but the athleticism's a little bit better at Illinois and Notre Dame, for
Yeah.
example, compared to Michigan Tech. The skill is very, very similar. The skill of the player, but the athleticism and the ability to um, do some things athletically is a little bit different at that level. But and now you're seeing this too, coach, all the time, and you're seeing Division 2 guys go to Division 1. I mean, it's every year. I mean, almost every mid-major has a Division 2 guy in their starting lineup that started at the Division 2 level.
Yep.
So the levels are, kind of just kind of mashing all together. Obviously you have that top tier, which
Yeah.
Illinois and Notre Dame and the Power Fives are, but then especially after that, it's very, very similar. You take the top Division 2 teams, and they would beat a lot of the OVC teams, and nothing against OVC or schools like that, but mid to low majors, I mean, they would compete and beat them a lot of the time.
I get so frustrated with some of these kids. Like I knew a kid who was ghosting D3 schools because he felt that he was a Division 1 player.
Yeah, I mean, I tell our guys all the time, any interest is good interest, and
Right. It's a compliment.
yes, any I think it's like 3% of high school players end up playing college ball, and 2% of high school players end up getting a full scholarship to college. And so if it's not those exact numbers, it's close to
Really
that.
close.
And so um, you know it, any level of college basketball is really, really good. And that's the one thing I tell them. And then the other thing I tell them is, if you really want to do it, and you really want to do it, there's a place for you in college basketball. You just need to find where it is and the level that it is. And you might be told no 6, 8, 10, 12 times. But if you really want to do this, there's a
Absolutely.
spot for you, but it's going to take hard work, etc. And, you know, it's similar to what I told. Okay, you committed to Michigan Tech, one of the top Division 2s in the country. I get all that. Now the real work begins. You did the easy part. Now the hard part is to show the mid majors like, whoa, we might have messed this up here, and then
Yep.
B, to show everybody it's like, dude, you're not a scholarship player. To show them like, okay, yeah, yes, I am. I mean, obviously you are, because someone thinks you are, but you know what I'm saying. And so
Yep.
it's a fun position to be in, and I'm just fortunate enough. I got one that's going to college that we're paying for, and obviously she got some academic money and those types of things, but free school at the college level is really a load off the parents backs for sure.
Well, I married a black woman.
Well,
You keep
I
it
mean,
real to everyone.
hey, that's right.
Here's my Iowa connection. Um, First, my wife went to Iowa and she was in the
Okay.
marching band.
All right. Nice.
My brother-in-law was a football player at Northern Iowa.
Dude, that's where I graduated from.
I know.
Northern Iowa.
Moses Joseph was his name.
Okay. Yep.
And then what's the other connection? I dated a girl from North Liberty who was absolutely out of her fucking mind. I mean,
Well,
coach,
I mean,
coach,
she, I mean, I don't want to say that she had to be dating you, but I just was going to leave that
coach,
part out.
coach. She lived on a farm.
Yeah. Okay.
It was. I'm from Glenview,
Yeah. Well, all right.
born and raised.
I
Yes.
mean, my wife is from Libertyville and has family.
Okay.
Her aunt and uncle still live in Glenview, so I
Okay.
know that area well. Yes.
Yes. It was a rude awakening for me.
I see. I see. That's
Yeah.
funny. That's funny. Well, you can never, I shouldn't say you can never go wrong with any Iowa connections, but I suppose you can, depending on what your connections are.
Yes. And God has blessed me with never seeing her again. So it was fantastic.
Yeah, well, that's
Um,
good.
how's my guy Woods?
He's great. Yeah. I mean, obviously it's nice to have a basketball guy as your boss. And so he kind of understands. And
Such a junkie. He loves that
yeah,
stuff.
and we know so many of the same people. So that's been great. And, it's always fun. He's great.
He's such a junkie.
Yeah, that's
Such a
exactly right. That's
basketball
exactly right.
junkie.
That's right.
Uh,
That's right.
the game needs him. I gotta be
Yeah,
honest. I know he's
no
got
doubt.
his I know he's got his cush little throne as an athletic director, but he's a
Yeah,
really good coach. He knows the
no
game
doubt.
well, and I've never, ever in all the years heard a kid not like playing for him.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Um,
well, that's rare. That's for sure.
yeah,
That
I
is rare.
mean,
Yep.
I bet there were some moms that had their own
Well,
comments.
I think that's always the case.
I mean,
I'm sure that's always the case. So
so what's it like? You've coached two. They're going to go down probably as two of the best high school players to ever come out of the state. Davion and Brady.
yeah, I mean, it's
Tell me about their preparation.
it's well. First off, let me just say this: it's always a blessing to coach players um, that respond to coaching, and almost all of our guys, other than my first couple of years, you brought up culture earlier, um, have been very receptive to coaching, and those two guys fit right into that, right? And
Yep.
so, um, it's been fun watching them develop as humans and as basketball players as well. So, it's fun, but it does offer some challenges, certainly, and so those things we embrace as well. And so we've had a slew of really really good players since I've been here, but Davion and Brady are right near the top, if not the top. And so, um, as far as the preparation goes, I will just say this: both of them work extremely hard at their game, and it's no coincidence that they're good. Obviously, they have some God given ability, but those two are both gym rats, and they are in the gym on a daily basis, and nobody's gonna really outwork those two guys.
I hope you all heard this. I
I
mean,
mean, people do, and they have some God given ability, obviously. I mean,
obviously.
Davion's one of the most gifted scorers I've ever seen, and certainly that I've ever coached. And Brady has the ability to affect the game in so many different ways
Yeah.
that are unique to him, and a player of his caliber to do that. Um, and to be able to do multiple things and to do multiple things really, really, really well is very rare. Um, Brady is ultra competitive and he's ultra, um, you know, just he has a little edge, and I mean that in a good way. And Davion's ability to score the ball, and then his feel for the game is really, really good. And he's a very underrated passer. I know he got a lot of pub, with our team as far as his scoring, but he's a very underrated passer and is going to be, really, really good at the next level of including others as well.
They both come from great fathers,
No
which
doubt.
is no coincidence. Again, fathers, I hope you're listening. I'm
And
just telling you,
and
like,
that makes them fun to coach as well.
yep,
Not just those guys, but like anybody that has a good parents and fathers in particular. You can challenge them. You can um, really put your arm around them if that's what they need, or you can, challenge them if that's what they need. And so, again, the coaching piece of it is more feel than anything, at least for me now that I've done it for so long. And so, it's fun to coach those types of players. And so, I've had a little experience coaching high level players through USA basketball, and then obviously we've had a run of really, really good players at Bolingbrook. But those two might be near, if not at the top, for sure.
you know, it reminds me of something Rob Smith said from Simeon. He said when he had Jabari and Derek that he had to up his game.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like he couldn't coach the same because they needed more out of him.
No doubt. There's no
Um,
doubt. And I say this all the time. There's three guys that can't have a bad practice. The first is the head coach. The second is the best player, and the third is the point guard. And so those three cannot have a bad practice. And so you might not be hitting shots, you might not be executing exactly how you want, but your energy level, your leadership, and all of those things have to be on point every single day. And that's really, really hard, especially for kids to be on point. And you got to be, before you can be the best player in another gym, you need to be the best player in your gym, and you need to be the best player in your gym every single day. And we talked about this at USA Basketball several years ago, but I've taken it to my guys too. Like, you need to be a pro before you're a pro,
mm,
and meaning you need to be on time. You need to have all your equipment. You need to communicate with your coaches. You need to be the hardest working player. You need to talk the most on defense. You need to encourage other people. So you need to be a pro before you're a pro, and the only way you can get to be a pro is by being a pro before that and being a pro at all of the things. And so it's kind of like the stuff we talked about earlier. And so until you start becoming a better person, you're not going to become a better player. And so that all rolls all together.
Coach, um, in 90 years, when you move on and you live with the basketball gods, um, how do you think people will remember you?
I don't know how they will, but I hope that the players know that I really care about them outside of basketball. And one of the things that we say and that I say all the time is, if your relationship with me depends on if you play, how much you play, or how well you play, you're in the wrong place. So
Mm,
everybody falls into one of those categories, right?
yep.
If you play, how much you play, or how well you play, that's everybody. And so if
Hmm.
your relationship with me depends solely on that, then you are not in the right place. And that it's not for everybody at Bolingbrook, right? And so as long as I'm the coach there, those are going to be the things that matter the most. Now, obviously, how you play is important, and how we play is important. That's important because that's what brings us together. And it's my charge or my job to hopefully get the most out of the players. And so to do that, there's going to be some challenging times with that. And there's going to be some personality stuff with that. There's going to be some conflict with that. So all of that's coming, right? And it's coming. Like it's coming this season. Like in 3 weeks when we start, it's coming. So all of those things are coming. So the baseline of all of that is the relationship that we have and and how we grow in that relationship. And then the more I know about you and the more I know of you, the better I can coach you. And the
Yep.
more you know of me as a coach, the better you can play for me. And so, it goes both ways. And, some years I do a better job than others of making sure that that's not only conveyed to the players, but then the behavior is like carried out, through me into the players. And so, that's always the underlying charge of the head coach. And that's me in this case. And so, um, it's a unique time in basketball, and it's a very unique time for these guys because they're just, they have 1 foot in adulthood and then they have 1 foot back to being a kid. And so they haven't really hit the I'm going to jump all the way to adulthood. And some of them have 2 feet in the kid arena still, and they're not being the adult or
Yep.
partly the adult. So it's challenging because you have all of those factors playing, and every decision you make as a head coach and everything that you say, people listen to that. And especially at a program of our size and our caliber, I'm not trying to discount anybody else's
Yep.
program or anything like that, but people listen to what you say and they internalize a lot of the time what you say. And so, you have to choose your words carefully and you have to choose your behaviors and your actions carefully. But most of all, they got to know that you care about them even if they don't score the basket, and that you care about them even if they mess up. And when they do mess up, because they will, they got to know that. And so that's always the most important thing as far as I'm concerned.
So a few things. One, you said you were only going to talk for 10 minutes and you talked for 50 minutes. So you
I
lied.
mean, sometimes I
Um,
get going on the relationship piece and all of that stuff.
I
And
loved it, brother.
yeah,
I loved it.
so
You don't
I
know.
appreciate you having me on. So I did go over a little over 10 minutes, but I know you probably got somebody important coming on next. So you probably got to kick me off.
Actually, I've had my daughter knock on the door twice and say, "Are you taking me to cheerleading?"
Oh, well, I mean, you better get her to cheerleading. I know that's important
Relax.
for sure.
Relax. She'll get
Yeah.
like a 2-minute drive.
Yep.
All right, brother. Well, I really, really genuinely know
Yeah.
I really appreciate you taking time, um, especially wanting to talk to me. I don't even know what you're thinking.
Well, I mean, hey, here we are. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much. And, if I can ever help moving forward, just let me know.
I will talk to you soon, coach.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.